IAM section, the next thing we are going to talk about is EC2. Now, what is EC2? EC2 simply means Elastic Compute Cloud. It is infrastructure as service. It is one of the most popular AWS service after S3 buckets. Now, think of EC2 like this. EC2 is a cloud-based computer that you rent on AWS so that you can actually use it to install maybe your web server like maybe Apache, Nginx or Node.js server. Or maybe you can use it to install different kind of application. Or maybe you can use it to install codes or database. So that is how you can use EC2. So EC2 is just like an AWS virtual cloud computer that you rent and you pay for it so that you can actually put some services on it and configure it. The funny thing about EC2 is that with EC2, you can have full control of whatever you put inside because it gives you full access control. Now, what are the features that we can see in EC2? Number one feature that we have in EC2 is that you can actually rent a virtual machine on EC2. And any virtual machine you rent on EC2 is what we call EC2 instance. That's number one features. Number two features there is that you can actually store data on EC2 because EC2 has a particular part in it which is called elastic block storage, where you can store some of your data maybe for a very long time or for a few period of time. Now, another features that EC2 has is that it works with elastic load balancer. Now, it is this elastic load balancer that helps EC2 to balance any kind of traffic that is coming towards it. Let's say, for example, a website with 100 visitors, and this particular website have 2 EC2. With the help of load balancer, those 100 visitors that are visiting that particular website at a go, they will not be directed to only one of the EC2. They will be distributed equally to those two EC2. And that is one of the advantage features that EC2 has. It can work with load balancer so that it can balance the load in an application. EC2 also work with what we call auto-scaling group. Now, because EC2 have the ability to work with auto-scaling group, anytime we notice that our website, people don't usually visit our website, maybe in the morning or in the afternoon, we can auto-scale it to have maybe 2 EC2 instances. Then we notice that at night we always have a lot of users, maybe 100 users or more than that, or 1 million users. We can auto-scale it to have maybe 5 or even 10 EC2 instances. So with the ability of EC2 to work with auto-scaling group, so in the morning we can actually reduce the number of EC2 that we have in our application using auto-scaling group. Then at night we can double it so that when more users visit our website at a particular time, the application will not be congested and it will crash. And it will make the application to work smoothly and be available 24/7. So that is why this is one of the best features. So knowing EC2 will allow you to understand and know more about cloud environments. Now, as a solution architect, what are the EC2 configuration options that you have that you must set anytime you want to launch your EC2? The first configuration you set is the operating system. Now, EC2 has 3 operating systems. It has Linux, it has Windows, and it has Mac OS. So you choose based on your choice. That's the first configuration. The second configuration you also choose is you also need to know or to determine how much power of CPU you need for your EC2. Maybe you want to launch just one EC2. And that one EC2, you have to think that, okay, with this one EC2, will it be enough if we have 50 users visiting this our application? If we have 100 users, will this CPU be enough? So maybe you are using 2-core CPU. So you need to think that, okay, what if you have 10,000 visitors, or we have 1 million visitors? Okay, let me double it to what? To M large CPU. So you need to know the kind of CPU that is the power that your CPU has. So that because it's that power that will determine the kind of visitor that want to visit your website at that particular time. So that is feature number 2. Feature number 3 is that you need to also determine the RAM, random access memory, that your EC2 will need, so that those users that are coming, it will be able to accommodate them, to be able to service them properly. So maybe your EC2 has maybe 4 gig RAM, you may double it to 8 gig RAM, or you may turn it to 16 gigabytes based on the number of users that want to visit that particular application. Then number 14, as a solution architect, you need to also know how much storage space you need for your EC2. And you need to know how you can attach storage to your EC2. And you can attach storage to your EC2 using two ways. You can use network attach, which involves you using elastic storage and EFS, meaning elastic file system. Or you can use hardware attach, which involves you using EC2 instance store. Then as a solution architect, you also need to know the kind of network that your EC2 must have. So if you want a very fast network, you can use network card. That one will be very, very fast. Then you also need to determine the kind of public IP address your EC2 must have, whether it is static or dynamic IP. The number 16 that you need to configure is you need to configure the firewall of your EC2 so that you can know the kind of traffic you want to allow to enter into your web server and the kind of traffic you don't want to allow into your web server, because that is what will maintain security. Then the last thing there is you can also use what we call bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is the process whereby you allow your EC2 to pre-install some file or some software or some updates as you launch it. So for you to bootstrap, you are going to write some scripts and give it to the EC2 so that the EC2 can pre-install some file or some update or some data before it gets launched totally. So that is that about EC2 for this section. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, follow and share. See you in my next